So this is probably going to be one of the more difficult things that we do in this chapter, and it's something dealing with three variables. But if you realize the processes that we talk about, that if you add two equations, the new equation is in the system. And if you can multiply it by any number, we can get down to how to deal with this. The idea for this is that we have three variables, and it's going to be a whole lot more difficult just because it looks like a whole big mess. So what we need to do is we need to pick a variable to eliminate, to create a new system. So we're going to create a new system. It's still technically within the system, but we're going to create a new system with just two variables. It doesn't matter which one you pick. You can use any variable, and you can use either elimination or substitution. Now I'm going to show you how you do this. Okay? Now, these mean something to us right now, but they don't mean a whole lot to us yet. So we have this system of three variables, and it doesn't matter which one you pick to eliminate. I'm going to eliminate z. So if I'm going to eliminate z, I need to pick two equations, first and second. Doesn't matter which ones we do. I need to pick the first and the second one, and I'm going to eliminate it. As you can see, the z's don't match up. So I need to multiply the first one by 2. So I'm going to multiply the first by 2. So I have 2x minus 4y plus 2z equals 12. I'm not doing anything with the second one, so it's 3x plus y minus 2z equals 2. So what I'm left with, if I combine these, I have 5x minus 3y, these eliminate, equals 14. Now eliminating usually gets rid of two variables, but this got rid of, or gets rid of, so you have one variable left. Now we're going to have just one. Okay, let me say that again. Eliminating usually gets rid of one variable, so there's only one variable left. Now we got rid of one variable, there's two variables left. So this here, this 5x minus 3y equals 14 is a new equation, still in the system. But I need to do something again so that I get another equation in the system. So I'm going to take the first and the third. So what I need to do now is I need to take a look at the first and the third and eliminate z and do the exact same thing again. So I'm going to multiply the first by a negative 5. So what I have is negative 5x plus 10y minus 5z equals a negative 30. And then 2x minus 3y plus 5z equals 1. Notice the z's are the same again, so they eliminate. So what I'm left with is negative 3x plus 7y equals a negative 29. So I'm going to write that up there for now. And this first video I'm just going to write on how you set these up. So the goal was to create a new system. That's what my goal was. So I just need to create a new system. And by multiplying and adding two of them together, I did that. So here's my new system. And I'm going to talk about what we do with this a little bit later. But for now, I just want to focus on the first part of this, is how you create this new system. So again, it doesn't matter which variable you pick. And I didn't solve that one yet. I'm going to get back to how you solve it in just a minute. But I'm going to pick a different variable this time. I'm going to pick x. So I'm going to eliminate x. So I'm going to take this first one and the second one. So 1 and 2. But I got to multiply the first one by a -3. So what I'm left with is -3x minus 12y plus 3z equals a -30. 3x minus 6y minus 3z. Oops, that's not minus 3z, it's plus z. I wrote these down wrong because I'm just multiplying the first one. 3x plus 2y plus z equals 4. So all I did was multiply the first one by -3. The second one I left alone. So I'm adding these two equations together. The x's eliminate. So my first equation is -10y plus 4z equals a -26. So there's my first equation in my system. So from this, I got to do the exact same thing with two other equations. Now I'm going to take 2 and 3. Notice that they don't match up, so I'm going to multiply 2 by 2 and 3 by -3. So I'm multiplying this first one by 2 and the second one by -3. So I have 6x plus 4y plus 2z equals 8. I'm going to multiply this one by -3. I get -6x plus 9y minus 6z equals 21. So I have two new equations here. I'm going to add them together. I get 13y minus 4z equals 29. So there's my next equation. So from this, here's my new part of my system. It's not technically new, but it's new equations in my system. And when you get to this point, the question is, what do I do? Well, what I want to focus on for this is just to know that this is the first part of making sure that this process works, and you have to be very delicate. You can see I kind of almost messed something up with this one. You have to be very careful with this. Now I'm going to jump to this one, and this is going to look completely different than the ones that we just did because of the fact that this only has equations with two variables in it. But the process is still the same. You need to pick a variable to eliminate. Doesn't matter which one you pick. So if you want to eliminate, I'm going to pick y. First of all, you should notice something about these equations. There's one equation already that doesn't have a y in it. So if that doesn't have a y in it, let's use it. if it's something that doesn't have a y in it, it's already part of the system. The reason that we're doing this is to create ones with two variables in it. It already has two variables in it. So let's use it to make it work. So this one already has two variables in it. So the ones that we need to use are the first and the third. And this is going to look really weird without writing it down properly. So I'm going to write it down so that you can see it. So 2y plus z equals 7. X minus y equals 3. I left spaces because there's no x, there's no z. So I need these to match up. I need to times this by 2. So what I have is 2y plus z equals 7. 2x minus 2y equals 6. So now I have this equation. I'm going to add these two things together. But notice there's no x's to add to this. So it's just the 2x. These eliminate. I have a z. There's no other z's to add, so it's just plus z. So it's equal to 13. So I have 2x plus z equals 13. So there's my second in my system. And again, the reason that we don't need to use this is because we already have an equation in this system that doesn't have a y in it. So why not use it rather than try and create two different ones? So we have one, why not use it? Now, in the next video, I'm going to show you just exactly what you do with these new equations in this system and how you go about solving them.